Well, as you can see, it's my favorite kind of morning. Foggy. According to the radio, the temperature in Ely this morning was 36 when I got up. A little bit on the chilly side. My leg kept me awake a little bit last night, not quite so much as last night, as the previous night, I don't think. Not really hurting this morning so far, touch wood, but yeah, it's kind of a dull pain right at the moment. So hopefully I can get at least to Jasper today, if not all the way to Alpine. That would be wonderful to be able to get all the way to Alpine. Makes for a very quick exit tomorrow. But we'll see what my body and my leg and everything else says. I am getting an early start. Well, I got an early start as far as getting up this morning. I started at 5:30 getting up. But of course, I'm not moving all that fast, so it probably will still be about a 9 o'clock, 9:30 putting on the water. What I'm going to do this morning is I'm going to make up a lunch before I leave. Have it at the top of my bear barrels so I can stop for lunch real quick and eat and get underway, because that was probably my biggest mistake yesterday. I should have stopped at that one campsite just before the Eddy Lake portage, eaten some lunch, gotten some energy, and then done the portage. Instead of which, I waited until I got up here, and by the time I got to this campsite and everything, it was pretty late in the afternoon before I had lunch. So I'm always reluctant to do lunch because it, like I said before, I kind of lose my momentum, but also it puts me that much later, and I'm afraid that I'm not going to find a campsite when I get to wherever. But if I have the lunch made up beforehand, that saves a lot of time. And I see my kettle is boiling, so I'm going to go ahead and pour out my water on my bananas and cream, and I'll get back to you. Just leaving the campsite on Eddy Lake. A short paddle to the Portage. It is 5 to 9. My leg is better than it was. It's a dull ache now and a sharp pain. So if I hadn't stopped and taken pictures and stuff this morning, yeah, let's put it this way, I didn't have to stop and rest as much this morning as I did yesterday while I was packing up. In fact, I didn't have to stop and rest at all. The fog is pretty much burned off. Just some wisps of mist now left. mostly in the shadows. So this is the beginning of the portage from Eddy Lake to Jenny Lake. "15 rods at quite a bit uphill. As you can probably see. 9:25 and pulling away from the portage. Heading out onto Jenny Lake. My leg was complaining a little bit on my first carryover with my pack and my canoe. So I decided to triple portage it. So my second trip I came across with my kitchen pack, and then went back to my camera bag and my sport bag. Thought it better to play it safe. Next two portages I should be able to double portage because they're relatively flat. It's already starting to get kind of warm out here when you're doing work like this, that is. Beautiful morning. Approaching the Jenny to Annie Lake portage landing. Forget about how rocky this one was. Well, the beavers continue to raise the water levels here on Eddy Lake. It's actually improved the landing on this end, but it's almost flooding out the portage trail. The portage trail is pretty wet in places, but be interesting. They improved this portage landing. It'll be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what they have done with the other portage landing, which was kind of interesting in the first place. Looks like they've improved this one too. Not gonna have to get out in such deep water as I did last year. Last year, if I remember right, I was up to my thighs to get to the back of the boat. Here's to show you the difference between what the Portage landing looked like in August of 2016 over on the left here and on the right. Particularly notice over on the right all these birches that are now underwater that were not underwater before. Also notice this downed tree from 2016. It was right at the end of the canoe when I had the canoe up as far as it would go in the landing. 2017, that same tree is way back here. This rock appears to be the same rock as what's back here. So the extra water has definitely taken off at least one rod off of that portage. Also has made it a lot easier to get in and out of the canoe, because I know in 2016 I was having to wade in pretty deep to get to the back end of the boat when it was sitting here. 2017, not so much. Okay, I'm on Ogish. Ogish Community. He's just gone 10:30. So I'm doing pretty good, pretty well. Legs hanging in there. Have some trail mix before I go any further. Well, it's 12:25 and I'm on Kingfisher Lake. Took me about an hour and a half to get across Ogish. Another half hour to get across the portage. Of course, after I got across the portage, I dug down into my pack for my lunch, so I can eat my lunch out here, drifting on the lake. Making pretty good time. I'm committed now. I at least have to make Jasper, because there's no campsites on Kingfisher. Given the time, I should be able to make it to Alpine. I am a little bit concerned about the Jasper to Alpine portage. At this end, there's a lot of ankle breaker type rocks. And there's a steep bank to go down on the other end. Might be able to double portage to the top of that bank and then get things down one at a time from there. Coming up to the start of the portage from Kingfisher to Jasper. Jasper Lake. 10 after 1. I think I'll make Alpine, but I don't think I'm going to make it to Seagull. I'm going to have to find a place to camp on Alpine. It'll be at least 2 o'clock by the time I get there, I think. I think it's going to take a while to get everything set up again tonight. I'm going to be stopping and taking a lot of rest. That leaves one portage for tomorrow. Hopefully my leg improves more overnight. So let's see, what do I got to get into Alpine? I have a 45 rod portage. Don't know if I'll be able to double portage it or not. I'll be coming up to the landing pretty soon, to the portage from Jasper to Alpine. My last portage of the day, 45 rods. Kind of a tricky one at both ends. Boy, this must have been beautiful before the fire. It's been absolutely gorgeous. I mean, it's pretty now, but there's a waterfall that we're portaging around. You can probably hear it. Yeah, a lot of people coming across that portage heading this direction. Okay. Alpine Lake. Okay, we're over here. Okay. Straight ahead is where I camped last year. Not gonna do that this year. No way, no how. That was not a very good campsite. So, let's see what else we can find further up the lake here. Of course, last year when I came through, I'd started way from the Seagull Lake Portage, the Knife Lake side of that, but had a lot more paddling to do. Had to do the Eddy Portage.
Afternoon?
Afternoon. Found a campsite on Alpine Lake. It's the end of the island. I'll show you on the map in a little while. But gorgeous sight. Can only imagine what it was like before the fire. But it's on the end of an island. This is the landing area. It actually has two landing areas. It has this cute little rock peninsula island with a cute little pine tree sitting out on it. Now, kitchen area, and there's a big rock area here. Beautiful for charging batteries, for instance, without your charger going into the water. Yeah. The kitchen area is up through here. As you can see, I already brought all my stuff up. So this is the kitchen area. It's kind of screened from the lake a little bit. I haven't really found a tent pad that I like yet. Gotta look for that. Oh, I don't think maybe down in here. This tent pad here might work for me. Don't know for sure. Have to check it out later. One over here that's a little bit on the slope side. Put my tent right out in here. Yeah, this would work. Oh, that really helped. I think this is probably a little train trail up here. Looks like there might be one or two more tent pads off to the side of the trail. But as per yesterday, I want to be as close to the kitchen area as I can. I think possibly right in here is where I'm going to end up being. It's a little bit sloped, but it's not too bad. Oh. Here's another trail up to the rock porch. Okay, it's going to take two maps to show you what I did today. I started out at this campsite on Eddy Lake. Did this 15-rod portage into Jenny Lake. That's the one that was uphill. I think I triple portaged that one, if I remember rightly. Then from Jenny Lake, there's a 15-rod portage into Annie Lake. So this is Annie Lake down here. Then that's the one that's being flooded out, or where the beaver activity is, where the water level is being raised so much. So then I did this 15-rod portage into Ogish Kamunsi. Okay, came up Ogish Kamunsi, and that's where we get into another map. This is the northeast end of Ogish. Came up 38-rod portage into Kingfisher. That's where I had my lunch, was floating around on the west end of Kingfisher. 25-rod portage into Jasper. Then the 45-rod into Alpine, which I managed to double portage. And when I was there, there was suddenly people everywhere going across that portage. Came out. That's the site I had last year that I didn't want again. So I came up around here. That site was taken. Never found this site, but it might have been decommissioned after the fire, because this map is pre-fire. This site was taken. There were 3 tents crammed into one little spot on top of the rocks. So then I came up here and I actually found this site at the west end of the island was open. So that's where I am. It's a nice site. No reason to move on and look elsewhere. This site here is usually almost always taken. Well, I've never seen it open when I've come through. And the portage I want to take tomorrow morning is this 105 rod into Seagull, which is right opposite the island. So, which is one of the reasons that's all usually taken, is because it's the first campsite after you get off of Seagull. So a lot of people come across that portage and boom, if that site's open, they take it. Looks like a good site too, from the water. I've never been in it, but of course this site is good too. So the way that all these others were full, I just decided I might as well take this if it was a good site without looking any further, because I knew I had other people coming up behind me too. So if I hadn't taken this one and if I'd gone on to look for another one, I'm sure this would have been taken within 5 or 10 minutes. So that one might have been open, might have been able to get that one, but this one's good enough. And yeah, it's far enough. I had been thinking about going all the way to Seagull, but I think my leg has had it now. I think I've gone far enough with my leg the way it is, and it's about 3 o'clock. Actually, it was 3 o'clock a little while ago. It's getting on about 3:15, which means I have about an hour and 45 minutes to get camp set up before it's time to start getting supper ready. But I'm going to relax here for a little while before I start putting up the tent. I'm not putting up a fly tonight, or a tarp, I mean. Just gonna set up my tent and then get things ready for supper. Not supposed to rain tonight, last I heard, and so yeah, just leave the tarp down. One less thing to take down in the morning. Well, that canister is on its 15th meal now, 15th boil. Not burning real big, but we'll see whether it makes it through this meal or not. Tonight's meal is open air again, alpine air. It is creamy beef and noodles with mushrooms. And it says a classic old world recipe with pasta, beef, and mushrooms in a rich sour cream sauce. That sounds like stroganoff to me. I don't know about you. It's funny because back when I was doing alpine air foods regularly, they had a stroganoff. Now they don't have a stroganoff, but they have creamy beef and noodles with mushrooms. Go figure. Well, that canister didn't last long, so I had to bring in the relief pitcher. I've actually been using this the last few mornings for breakfast because I didn't want to wait for the other one to, wait all that time for the other one to heat things up. I figured supper time, I've got a little bit more relaxed time. So I think I used the small one for the last 3 breakfasts or something like that, last 2 or 3. And just used the other one for suppers because it wasn't burning very hot. Sorry, alpine air. Mountain House wins this round. This is okay. This is good. but it does not match Mountain House stroganoff. Well, I've had dinner. It's coming up on 6:30. Couldn't resist coming out for a paddle tonight. Here's my campsite. Can't see anything from here. Here's the front porch. Can't see that anybody's there. Go circumnavigate another island here. Neighboring island. Here's some footage. night of the trip, even though I decided a few days ago that I wanted to get out early, I'm kind of having second thoughts. But my leg is still hurting. It's going to be great to be home. Get that scene 2 fixed up, scene 2, whatever. I am running low on batteries, although I still have at least one battery left for the camera I'm using right now. I have one battery left for my D5500, and I have a partial battery for my 7200, and lots of battery for my Olympus. So, but that really only gets me through one more day anyway, and I don't know, it might not even get me through tomorrow. So whether I left tomorrow or not, my video would probably end tomorrow in any case, no matter where I was, what I was doing, just because of the battery issue. So, and it's like I said, it's going to be great to be home and take care of my leg issue. Even if it is getting better, it's still awfully tough to do the portages, especially several in one day like I did today. So I've been gimping around the campsite this evening. Took me quite a while to get the tent set up because I had to keep sitting down and letting that leg rest up. So it's not completely better, it's just better than it was yesterday, and that was better than the day before, etc., etc. But who knows how long it would be before it wasn't hurting anymore either. So all in all, it's a good thing that I am leaving tomorrow, but yeah, tinge of sadness with it as usual. Bittersweet. I get to see Pat and the pups again. See how Sam's doing after his surgery. I'm sure he's doing fine now. And yeah, and it gives me more time to get ready for my upcoming show and a few other things that I have to do. So all in all, it's a good thing. Sorry to those that are disappointed when I got out early. Usually it's only 1 or 2 days early, not 5, but extenuating circumstances. I don't always leave early. It just depends on what happens, what the circumstances are. So that's the way I roll. So I don't know if I'll talk to you again from the tent or not, but it's gorgeous out here this evening. It's supposed to be a nice day tomorrow. Light winds again, a little bit stronger than today, but still shouldn't be too bad, especially if I get out early. So, and that's going to depend a lot on what my legs are doing and what photo ops come up too. Anyway, yeah, I'll call it quits for tonight. Talk to you tomorrow.